in Baltimore City. This is going to be part one, the American Visionary Art Museum. It is an art museum located in Baltimore, Maryland's Federal Hill neighborhood at 800 Key Highway. The museum specializes in the preservation and a display of outsider art, also known as intuitive art or raw art. This museum focuses on more than one particular theme, but for the most part it specializes in original thematic exhibitions that seamlessly combine art, science, philosophy, humor, and especially social justice. Not certain, but impressive museum nevertheless. I've heard of it, I've driven by it, but I've never had the experience of going to it and having its full pleasure in experiencing all of the magnificent works that are in this particular museum. So some of the history is the city had agreed to give the museum a piece of land on the south shore of the Inner Harbor. It has been designated by Congress as America's natural museum of visionary art. Impressive museum, impressive artwork, impressive artists. A must-see if you have not had the experience. It's on a campus which contains about 67,000 square feet of exhibition space and permanent collection of about 4,000 pieces. The museum's main building features 3 floors of exhibition space, and it takes quite a bit of time to get through it, but it's a lot to see. It's a very eclectic exhibition. All over the place from a standpoint of what you might see. A lot of mosaic tiles, but very well put together. And it also has a tall sculpture garden or a sculpture barn and a wildflower garden, which is what they call, which I'm still calling a sculpture garden, along the large exhibition and event spaces in the Jim Rouse Visionary Center. So there are like 3 parts of this museum which I didn't know about. This first portion of what you're seeing is the main exhibition, of course. There's a gift shop that has a lot of very nice, full, interesting things in the gift shop. And as you exit, as I thought I was almost done, I went into the particular sculpture garden. Then there's like a, what I called a theater room. You can see that in part 2 of the video where I go in extensive exploration of that. And then there's a third gallery that's 2 floors. And there's a library and a workshop in there. But what you're seeing now is a good idea of how extensive this collection is, and some beautiful pieces, and we'll try to cover some as much as I could possibly can. But from what I understand, there isn't, from a curation standpoint, I think it has no staff of curators, but they're guest curators that come in that I'm not sure how that works, but I would assume meet and figure out what particular pieces will be on display. Wooden pieces, tile pieces, a lot of mixed media, and as I mentioned before, the themes do vary and quite impressive from a standpoint of the innovative styles and techniques that are used in many of these pieces. It is a museum that will probably cost you about $30 to get in. And speaking of techniques, I just wanted to focus on some of the interesting things that you'll see. There's this Mike Tyson and there's a Muhammad Ali piece that are beautifully done in a actual like fabric or quilt stitched. I don't know if it's hand stitched or not, but from a standpoint of what I mentioned as how innovative a lot of this art is, it speaks for itself. It took me about maybe 2 to 3 hours to get through each particular unit or gallery. And as I mentioned before, it's like 3 parts. There's a main gallery, and then once you exit, there is a outdoor gallery portion, and then there's the 3rd gallery portion. So again, these pieces that we're seeing right here are in a different array and assortments of photographs, You name it, it's there. A lot of sculptural pieces. There's some innovative pieces that you will see coming up that are welded. So you get a enormous collection of artists, and I think I was thoroughly impressed. I would certainly go back. Highly recommend it because it's extremely unusual in some of the things that you'll see, and it's also very fun. So for those who have kids or anybody that's not interested in art, I think there will be some form of a piece here that you will definitely gravitate towards or resonate with. I saw several pieces that I actually saw in catalogs and was extremely impressed with, as well as some other sculptural pieces that really blew me away. And the larger sculptural pieces that you will also see in the second portion. This is I think a pegs actual, and I'm not even sure, I should have focused more on that, but the welding piece such as this is one of the intricate ones that caught my attention. And these things just come to life, and they just have a huge presence because it's just something that you generally do not see in an art gallery as to how these things are crafted. This particular piece here it was a pope in like the woods of a background, and these actual wolves here are like of a paper type of material that I'm not certain of. But again, every piece and exhibit will draw you in just from how unique it is. It's something like very non-traditional that you wouldn't get in such as like the Smithsonian's or some of the other more traditional galleries. That's what makes this particular gallery more outstanding, is because of the visual components of how these things are crafted and put together. They really take on a life of their own, to where they have a larger than life presence, and they lure you in and is very unique. This is a mosaic piece here of like a particular angel, and for some reason, from what I understand, that angel spins around, but I think the mechanical component was damaged. Nevertheless, the American Visionary Art Museum, check it out. It will not disappoint, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review.